Welcome to the show. After the show, what happens right after the show? Cheers. Man, so this is the video that was basically invented inside of a show after the show.
Yeah, that's right.
We made it.
Last week we were like, we should make this video, and now we did.
Yes.
Maybe we'll think of another great theory today.
Yes, whilst we discuss. Oh man, so this one was kind of interesting as we were like sort of pouring through it because we just made the skull video.
Yeah.
And I feel like this theory did rely on information from that theory, but I didn't want to, so like we needed to recount some of the information.
But not all of it.
But I didn't want to like have people watch the same video again.
Yeah.
Especially since they like kind of go so hand in hand.
Right.
So that was I feel like that was an interesting challenge for this video was like, what's our quick blurb?
Yeah, because a lot of it relies on Grindelwald not actually ever having loved Dumbledore.
Right.
And the main proof we have of that is just that year on the skull.
Right.
And that's like, maybe we're extrapolating a lot from that one little thing, but I don't know. I don't think so, because it sounds like what he would do. Like, J.K. Rowling is adamant that he's like so persuasive and super manipulative all the time.
Right. And I mean, you truly haven't seen that much of that happen yet, but if what you ultimately discover is that he was able to get like Dumbledore, one of the most brilliant wizards alive, to fall in love with him, I don't know, there's something kind of interesting about that, because I think it also speaks to like Dumbledore is like very magically powerful and of course very intelligent, but he is still vulnerable as a like a human being.
Yeah. And like that's the way he attacks him.
Right.
Really.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, because I do feel like they've drawn specific attention to the idea that like Dumbledore was a more talented wizard. Because even the blood pact on like within that whole notion is maybe kind of unnecessary. Like, I feel like they've always explained it where like Grindelwald knew that Dumbledore was a little more powerful, so he just always sort of avoided
him. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like England was never really hit in the same way.
Yeah.
As other countries at this time, specifically because he wasn't willing to go there.
Maybe they needed like a good explanation for why it took Dumbledore so long to go fight him, and like the reason is the blood pact, and because otherwise it's sort of like, boy, you're being pretty neglectful for like 20 plus years, bro.
Here's the thing though, and this is like I'm expecting disappointment and I hope that we can bypass it. I would be willing to bet that within the timeline of the movie, 18 years don't pass.
You think what?
So I think that they're going to retcon the 1945 date.
Oh, that'd be weird.
It's upsetting to think about, but I don't know that it would completely conflict with other things they've done so far.
I don't think they'll retcon that.
Really?
Yeah. I can see them doing something stupid like...
Stupid-dupid?
Yeah, stupid-dupid. Like, oh, we took... Like, because they had that McGonagall time-turner tale going.
Right.
And I could see them being like, oh, just take this blood pact back to before or something, like, to a place where it doesn't count anymore or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's certainly possible. I think that the biggest reason that makes me think that they're going to end up doing that they're just going to like keep on, is because they made movie 1 in 1926, movie 2 in 1927.
Yeah.
There's 3 more left, and we've made it 8 months.
Yeah. So it's like, we gotta start having some big jumps in time.
Right.
Not that they couldn't. I mean, they could just pick up right away in like 1940.
So what do they do about like Newt and Tina's love story, for example?
Yeah, right. Like
do we end movie 3 with like them getting married or something so that you can sort of like allow that to happen and not have to like linger it out there and be like it's like a rekindled love 20 years from now?
Right. Or is it just sort of like, okay, you could pretty much assume from the end of 2 that they end up together.
Right.
And now we're fully on each other's side and we'll just open on the wedding or something on 3 or...
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't know what the best way to go about that is, but I do feel like there are some complicated stories if you're going to stretch it that much further. Not to mention like the aging of the characters and how well they can do that.
Right.
It's presumed better than what they did with like Daniel Radcliffe at the end of Deathly Hallows Part 2.
I hope so.
Where they aged him up for like the King's Cross scene.
Or like, do they even have to age them up that much?
Can we just like suspend their disbelief?
Yeah,
and
just be like, oh yeah, people just don't look that different 20 years later.
Right.
These people are so beautiful.
Right, I know.
They always look good.
It's just, I mean, if you think about it within the context of, and there's the same issue with Voldemort somewhere along the way, but essentially from like 1955 maybe through 1980.
81?
Yeah, like he doesn't do a whole lot, and he doesn't create any more Horcruxes. Like the belief is that he's going to like make the last one on Harry.
It's like, what has he been doing for 30 years that he hasn't won the war yet?
Right.
You know, has he just been slowly building followers that long?
Yeah.
It's a weird thing.
I mean, it may offer some credence to the idea that he would be like super well integrated and give him enough time to create an army. But again, it's believed that, you know, even in school, Voldemort was super persuasive and he had older students looking up to him. And I don't know, it's just the timing is possibly a problem.
Yeah. I mean, could they have some sort of situation where they just do like a montage of like 10 years happening where they just sort of cut to, this is what Newt and Tina have been doing for the past.
It's a thought.
Like, they're just like boots on the ground, like, oh, let's go stop this guy, flash up 1932, let's go stop this guy, flash up 1934, oh, you know.
Sure, and they've done that a little bit so far. I mean, they've set some precedent for the idea of like showing newspaper clippings at the beginning of the movies to sort of show you like what the climate is. So they could be like, you know, they could pick up the next movie and be like, oh, famous author and MACUSA or married, you know, whatever.
That'd be so lame.
I know. Like if they don't show it to you.
I guess.
The chemistry between...
Like, how important is it to show them actually getting married? Maybe not that important. But, like, I don't know. Yeah, the chemistry between them seems so good.
I know, yeah. Like, they're easily the best part of this movie series so far is those two.
I think so.
So I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know how they can do it. I still feel like they're gonna show us a lot more from the past.
I feel like could we? That being said, it's like the other big duel they could show us is the three-way duel
between Aberforth.
Yeah, because that could be like a big climactic thing.
That could be.
Like
that could be.
What happened? Like maybe that's how someone eventually deduces the Blood Pact won't be in effect or something.
Sure. How would you feel if like the next movie literally didn't take place within the didn't take place forward, but was entirely the events of 1899?
Oh, that'd be interesting. There's just no Newt Scamander in this next Fantastic Beasts movie at all.
Oh, that'd be so sad.
I would. It'd probably have to take place like on parallel timelines.
Right.
But I don't know. Back to our original theory for today.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I like its odds of coming true. Not that we're gonna know for like 6 more years or something. Just because, like, when you have a prequel series, often what'll happen is that like many of the story beats will be like echoed from the original thing, and this would put the final duel sort of have that just love Elder Wand theme again. Sure.
Yeah. And that's super true. Of course, there's always just the challenge of like we don't know what we don't know about future stories yet. Like when we only knew a Fantastic Beasts movie was coming out, I think we had a story that would involve Hagrid and Newt helping Dumbledore defeat him because...
So the other thing, it's like, why is Newt so important to this story when we know the climactic battle is Dumbledore and Grindelwald?
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's harder to figure out how Newt is going to be critically important. Like, it definitely hasn't been... Like, you always knew Harry had been marked.
Right.
Harry was the one who survived. Harry was the one who, like, kind of brought about the fall of Voldemort from the beginning. So
there was a prophecy about him. You know? Yeah.
But, like, even without knowing about the prophecy, because we don't know about that
for
until
a long time.
Book 5, so...
Yeah, like, Newt's just the guy who was there.
Right.
Twice now.
Right.
But, yeah, it's not like he's hunting him down. Why?
Do you need, as a watcher of film, for him to be somebody more significant to the story, or are you okay with him being...
I mean, there's arguments both ways. It's kind of like Rey and her parents. It's like...
We have that argument a lot.
A lot here, but is it like better if she really just came from absolutely nowhere, or is it more compelling if her parents were somebody?
Sure.
Like, that makes her special, or... And, I mean, there's good arguments both ways. On the one hand, like, a hero can come from anywhere, but... I don't know. I like our theory from Tuesday's video.
Right. No, I think it makes a lot of sense. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm fascinated to see more. I am hopeful that they call us and ask us to come help them write.
Yeah, I doubt it, but...
You never know.
Gosh, when is the next Fantastic Beasts movie? It's not next year, right? It's like 2021 or something?
It might be.
Oh my gosh.
It's a ways out,
so far away.
We're going to have a long time to speculate.
Oh, I hate it. I want more.
I know. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate your support on Patreon. We'll see you next time.
Bye.